Hello everybody, welcome into my Watch Me Wednesday episode number 121. Oh my gosh, so I was rushing to get to you today at 1:30 and boy, I've had a busy morning. I've been feeling very productive the last couple days. Now that I've broken free from my boot and I'm now on house arrest with my ankle brace, I'm doing really well. I've got physical therapy in place and I am ready to get sewing now because I have use of my foot. But we'll see how I do. I'm actually still sewing with my left foot, even though I don't really need to use the foot pedal. But anyway, I want to get to you today a tutorial. You've been seeing me make these crazy blocks all week. So I've done red and I've done blue. Now I'm on to green. So I wanted to show you, because there's been a lot of questions on how I'm making them. Really super simple, super easy. And I wanted to share that with you. So if you want others to see how to make these, please go ahead and hit that share button so that we could get going and we can share how this is done. Couple things first. Of course, I'm going to be at my sewing machine, so I am always going to show you how I'm sewing too. I'm on my Designer Epic 2 today. I do have my embroidery module on, so I'm hoping you can see everything because I will be showing you from the sewing machine as well. So first things first, hit the share button and I'm going to show you what we need to get started with as far as the crazy block. Okay. A lot of people have been guessing whether I've been freehand cutting, using a ruler, using a die cutter. I've been using a template set. So the template set that I've been using, and I've been wanting to try it actually for some time, is the Creative Grids Non-Slip Scrap Crazy 6-inch block. And I put a link to it. My friend Deb Luttrell, who owns Stitchin Heaven, she sells them. I don't stock them. I just don't want to stock them. So Deb Luttrell has these in stock. You can buy them from her. And they're pretty fabulous. They're pretty fun to do. And it comes with, there are 4 different templates, and it's really super easy to do, especially if you don't have the money to invest in like a die cutter. So let me show you basically what you need to do to start. So the first thing you're going to do, and what I did, and you can cut any amount of strips that you want, but you need 6-inch strips. And I started with, actually, with all the colors that I did, I only used 5 strips. You can use as many or as little strips to give you variety in your strips, or your blocks. But I really didn't want to go too much, because the more strips you get, of course, the more blocks you're going to make, which makes the quilt bigger. And I wanted to make it just a nice size quilt. I didn't want to make a gigantic quilt. So I did 5 different strips, which gives you, I think, plenty variety. So then you're going to cut those in 6-inch strips. Then what I figured out, which was the best way, I think, to handle it, they give you actually instructions in here on how to, how to piece it together and how to cut the templates out. So basically you're cutting your strip into three separate sections, because you're laying your templates down on those sections. So I'm going to turn the camera down so you can kind of see the sections that I actually pre-cut them. I figured out the length of the sections that you need to cut out of that 6-inch width of fabric, because you've got 6-inch by your width, which is about 40 to 42 inches, depending on the fabric you're using. So I'm going to turn you down and I'm going to show you exactly the widths that I did. So let's go down here. Hang on one second. Bear with me. Okay. So I think you can see there. Okay, so what I did, so you have a couple widths. So you have a 7.5-inch width. So it's 7.5 by 6 inches. Okay. Then this one is 5.5 by 6 inches wide. And then the last one is 9 inches by 6 inches wide. And I'm going to show you how you lay your templates out on these. So the first one you're going to lay out on is your 6.5 inch piece or your 7.5 inch piece. And you're going to lay your template out. They're going to lay out like this. So you have your A piece laying here. And these are all nice and squared up too. And then your B piece is going to lay here. And what I did is I actually like to use my little spinning mat. If you use your spinning mat, you actually have, I think you don't have to move things around nearly as much. So I used my spinning mat, and what I did was I just made a cut here. And I stack my fabrics up too, because if you stack your fabrics up, and you're going to keep your width of fabric folded, by the way, you're not going to open it out to 40 inches. You're going to keep it folded in half. So now I've cut this. So now I've got that piece, right? And then what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my A piece first, because this piece here, this is going to be a mirror image. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this with my rotary cutter. And now I've got my piece there for my B piece. And I'm going to cut here. I'm going to cut those little dog ears off because we don't want those dog ears. Okay. So cut those off, and then they just go in a stack with the others. Now, this is the piece that we need for your B. And this was the piece on the top, but I have to, it's going to be a mirror image. We want to turn it over and line it up with the edge of the other one, because we want to lay our B piece on here. And then, actually I want to line up my diagonal edge. So if you could see, I'm lining up my diagonal edge here. Okay. And then I'm going to lay my B piece on, and then I'm just going to cut through all these layers. And yes, most of you who know me, I use my 60mm blade. It just gives me more depth, so I can cut through more layers. Okay, so I'm going to cut that. Let me move this ruler out of the way. Turn my spinning mat around. I love my spinning mat. And cut those little dog ears off. And then you have your piles of your bees. So then you're going to go through the rest. I'm not going to cut out the rest, but I'm going to show you how you lay it out. So here's your 5.5 inch piece, and that one gets laid out. This is your C piece and your D piece. Your C piece is going to get laid out here, like so, and then your D piece goes on here. You're going to cut those out so that you get these shapes. These are the shapes that you're going to get. So you get your C and your D piece, okay? You lay those out, and then that's all done. Then you're going to lay out your 9-inch layers, and again, stack up your fabrics, because if you stack them up, then you're going to get a lot more. Then this is another one where we're going to use reverse again. So we're doing the A piece again. So we want to lay that out. But these two guys, the C and the D, are going to get used again. And they're going to be reversed because they don't really fit on here real well. So they're supposed to be in reverse. So I cut my... So what I do is I turn them over in reverse so that I can see how they're going to go on there, because that's how they actually go on. But because your little grippies are on this side, you want to turn the fabric over. So I cut out my A piece first, and then I just flip the fabric over. So basically all I'm doing is cutting my A piece, cutting my A, and I'm not going to finish cutting that, but then I just flip my fabric over. I'll cut this later, finish cutting that later. Turn my fabric over. Now my C piece can go up right side, and my D piece can also go right side, and then I can cut them out to get my other pieces. So then you have all your pieces all set and ready to go, and I'll cut these out later when I get off camera. So let me show you how the block goes together, because I want to show you how that goes together, because that's the fun part, right? Sewing. So here is what I do, is I stack up all the pieces that I've cut, just like so, just like it's going to be in the block. Oh, wait, and I should tell you one other thing. You can actually make this block a little more interesting too, because on the A template, there's also this bottom one. It's an E template, so you can actually make a fifth piece for your block if you want to make it a little more interesting. So like if you're doing the 5 strips, of course you can cut out that 5th piece and you can make the block more interesting. So now you want to sew these together. So you basically, I chain piece this whole stack, these 2 pieces together, I chain piece the whole stack, but basically you're going to flip these right sides together, okay? Just, oops, make sure you're just grabbing 2 pieces of fabric. And let me bring you over to my sewing machine. Okay, oops, I got to get this stuff out of the way. Okay, and then, let's see, here we go. You're going to sew at a 1/4 inch with a neutral thread. Now I'm not going to chain piece all these for you, but I want to show you. So that's the one side, and then I'm going to take the other side, because I want to show you one whole block. I'm going to take the other side. By the way, if you're wondering what these fabrics are, these are from my Mandala Magic fabric line that will be available in stores in September, if you're wondering. And then you're just going to flip those right sides together, sew down the edge at a 1/4 inch, because you want that perfect 1/4 inch, right? And then you're going to clip these apart. And what I did is, I'm not going to go to the ironing board right now, but you press just to one side. It doesn't really matter because you're not matching any seams. So you're pressing to one side, and then you've got your 2 halves, okay? You're going to flip those right sides together, and because you have these little dog-eared corners that were built into the ruler, they're going to match up perfectly. And you can see that I'm not even pinning. You can pin if you want to, but I don't even feel the need to do so in this. Now, of course, I like to press, so my seams aren't laying quite as flat as I would like them, but that's okay. I'm working through it. Oh, and if you have needle down, that's awesome to use on your machine. I love that functionality on my Epic 2. And I'm just going to sew that all the way through. And then you have your block. You'd press it open, and again, it doesn't matter which way, but that's your block. So let me bring you up so you can see me again. Hello, hello. Here I am. I'm back. Sorry. Almost knocked you over. Whoops. There I am. There I am. So there's your block. It's a fun, cute little way of doing it. Now I've got reds, blues, and greens to go into this little, it's just an on-the-fly quilt, but I'm using up scraps, which is fantastic to do. So I hope you liked the tutorial. If you did, go to my friend Deb Luttrell's shop, Stitch in Heaven. The link is above me, and pick up the Crazy 6 ruler templates. They're fantastic. Use up your scraps, make a quilt, and just have fun. Something neat to do. So I'm really glad you joined me here today, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you all next week. Happy 4th of July, everybody, and happy quilting. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining me.